I've been thinking about momentum. Momentum is this cool thing that we have. Actually, most things on the planet have momentum. Just watch a rock rolling down a hill. It has momentum, right? Cars in a crash have momentum. We as people have momentum. It's how we use momentum. Because we can use momentum for good, we can use momentum for bad if you want to qualify. I personally don't really, things happen, not necessarily good and bad things. They're all things that occur to us. Momentum, at its fundamental step, is the thing that keeps us driving forward. My father, who I always reference for some reason, it's those things where you're growing up and your father tells you all these things and you just brush it off, and then the first time that you say it to your kid, you shock yourself in horror. Like when I told my daughter, "Well, if you don't have time to do it right the first time, you don't have time to do it." I just said something my dad told me, right? That type of thing. He told me this great thing with momentum. He says, momentum is something when you're self-employed or working towards being self-employed, you got to put energy into your business every day. He says, because a weekend off will cost you a week of momentum. A week off will cost you a month of momentum. He says, you don't have to be sitting at a desk 8 or 10 hours. It's taking a legal pad and just sitting down with some thoughts. We all have voice recorders on the smartphones. Talk to yourself once in a while. Every day, relay some thoughts back and forth so you can hear them when you need to. That's what he's talking about momentum. It wasn't this, I got to work 20 hours a day, though you find that most of us do when we get product. Why? Momentum. Momentum pushes us forward in these things, right? We get the energy going with that. And describe that in a scenario. I do a lot of blog writing, which you will certainly hear about. And there's one that I wrote that I want to reference about the cap on the floor. And the reason is because when I'm trying to exercise, I guess trying is kind of an understatement. When I'm exercising, let's talk in the forward thinking, right? Yoda talk. When I'm exercising, I try not to let any distraction occur. And I had an incident once where the cap of my bottle, when I went to take a drink, fell on the floor. And I sat there staring at it and I thought, okay, do I give up momentum and stop the treadmill and pick up this cap? Or do I learn that I've just got to keep my momentum? And little things in life are going to come up all the time, and I got to be able to make good decisions to keep my momentum. That cap stayed on the floor, by the way. It's just why I wrote about it. But I've also had moments where my shoelace untied at the gym, and 5 or 6 people will come up to me and say, "You know, your shoelace is untied." And I said, "Yeah, I know." "You know, you might trip." But I said, "Yeah, I know, but I got to finish my time on the machine." So they look at me like I'm a psychopath and walk away, but that's okay because I maintain momentum. So what do you do to maintain momentum? Think about it. What can you do to maintain momentum? Think about that. And more importantly, always do something for momentum.